I'm Jason Coleman with the 213.net, and as you can see, I've got this lovely Rhona Mitra Doomsday poster signed right down there. Beautiful. Oh, it's life-size. Want to see how I got it signed? Check it out. Jason Coleman here with the 213.net with the feisty yet fetching, awesome Rhona Mitra. I'm such a huge fan. Thank you for doing this. Let's talk about your great new flick, Underworld, Rise of the Lycans. Can you talk a little bit about your character, Sonia, and how this movie fits into the Underworld universe?
Right, well, thank you for that introduction. Was it feisty but fetching?
Feisty and fetching, I should have said.
I like that. Thank you very much. I think I might kind of put that...
Kicking ass in Doomsday, you have to have that.
Put that on my IMDb. I am feisty but fetching, 5'6", not 5'8". Everyone thinks I'm massively, monumentally large, but I'm, quite a Lilliputian. How does this all fit in? Well, it's a prequel. It's 12th century. And dates way, way, way back before, the first two Underworlds. And I play Sonia, who's Victor, Bill Nye's daughter. And I think it really sort of sets up the whole dynamic between the Lycans and the vampires, and really tells us. I think the story is much more. It really is about the Lycans' perspective and from the Lycans' perspective.
Now, obviously, last time we saw you, you were kicking ass in Doomsday, and I was curious. Doing some of the cool stuff in that movie. Did that prepare you for some of the action sequences in this film?
It absolutely did, 100%. And I was fortunate in Doomsday that I actually had a lot of training time, and because I had to do so much in that. There were no cars, obviously, in Underworld, but I had to do a lot of sword fighting and also just learning how to sequences in combat and all of that sort of stuff. I really did a good couple of months of that. And it's like, I think anything that you learn, whether it's an instrument or dancing, is that once you understand that it's choreography or whatever it is, it's part of you. So I understood the dance of, sword fighting and all that sort of stuff. So once we went in, I also had a really wonderful stunt double because we had a very very tight schedule, and so I wasn't always able, because we just didn't have time to do some of the stuff, like some of the wire work and all of that she did, and kudos to her, because I'd hate to take all of the credit, but for the most part, I did all my I ride a horse and have been since I was little, so I got to do all of that stuff.
So the trailer's got some great CGI stuff and some obviously probably some makeup effects and stuff, and I was just curious, can you talk a little bit about that? Did you get to do any of that sort of personally, and what was it like sort of being in the midst of all of that?
In the midst of
CGI and all the makeup effects and...
Yeah, you know what? I did get to see, and it was quite extraordinary, because Patrick Totopoulos, who is our now director for this movie, he was a production designer on the first two.
Oh, nice.
So I went down to his monster shop, if you like, beforehand, because I had to get a mold made, because I have this really stunning helmet at the beginning, which they needed to have, and it really needed to be quite form-fitting. So I went down and I saw the wolves in progress, but I had no idea what it was going to be like, until actually I saw it the other day. Literally, I saw it sort of 3 or 4 days ago, and the end result and how they were going to morph, and really even the size of them. So there were a few guys walking around on these kind of stilts with the top part of the wolf on their bodies, which
nice.
is kind of weird.
Weird.
It'd be like, especially when you had some downtime. Yeah. They couldn't take their things off. So you'd see these kind of like half wolves lying around the sets. What's up, guys? Tickling them and, spooning them and having fun. So it was pretty hard to take it entirely seriously or be scared of them.
Nice.
And there were times where Patrick was like, right now you have to imagine there's a bunch of wolves coming at you, and you've got to slice them this way and chop them that way and take that one's head off and chop that one in half. And they're not there. They don't exist. So, imagination came into play, and thank God I've got a good one.
Okay, so Doomsday, I gotta admit, is one of my all-time. I love it. I think it's amazing, and most of it is you. Eve Sinclair is feisty and bitter and ass-kicking. And I was just curious, did you have any influences in creating that role?
Well, the interesting thing about Eden Sinclair was that there was so much as in there was only this much on the page, and the story itself, and I think that where the director was coming from, he just wanted to blow stuff up. and I was like, there's a character here, and she's female, and all I know is that if you want a woman to be plausible in this environment, personally, my approach was, the less she says, the better. Especially when what she's saying isn't right. If your action hero / heroine doesn't come out with the right lines,
Yeah.
it's over.
Exactly.
That's all. It's funny because men can get away with saying all sorts of things, and it can come out and it can be, slightly cheeky, tongue in cheek, or whatever it is. But if a woman says it and it, tries to throw it out with some balls, and it doesn't come out right, they're just like, shut up, don't even bother. So I just I took a red marker and just went, she's not saying that, she's not saying that.
Nice.
Because I just wanted her to have an attitude.
Very cool.
And so I realized that, and I try to put myself in the mindset of, if a man was to play this, who could I liken myself to, or who can I liken her to? And I actually imagined Clive Owen playing it.
Wow, very
Yeah,
cool.
You know how he's quite stoic and yeah. So
That's awesome.
and also there's the action heroes and heroines have become much more, I think, still. But whether it's Jason Bourne or whether it's Daniel Craig, how he plays it in the now 007, and I think that there's a lot to be said for that. And I try to adhere to that, and I thought that was a good route to go.
Cool.
I think if you haven't got something good to say, don't say anything at all. Just headbutt someone.
Words of wisdom, headbutt someone.
Just nothing.
So one final question. This year I made a top 5 list of my favorite actresses who I think are just talented and amazing, and that I wanted under my Christmas tree this year. You were on my list. I came down on Christmas Eve. There was nothing. You were not under the tree. I was a good boy this year. What happened?
I wasn't under your tree. No, that would have been really scary. I would have been really concerned. We would have both been checked in. Straight jackets immediately.
Santa knows best.
Christmas and all, but I was with my nieces and nephews.
Nice. That sounds better.
Next year, maybe you need to be better.
I think so.
Do something, get involved with one of his personal elves and see if you can make a friend or something.
I will. I totally will. Thank you so much. This is Jason Coleman from the 213.net with the lovely Rhona Mitra, and Underworld, Rise of the Lycans. Go see it. It opens up January 23rd.
Not to be mistaken for underwear.
No.